and welcome to The Buzz.
Coming to you from the Yaya Imaginarium Studios in Belchase.
I'm Jackson.
And I'm Lorelai. And today we will talk with muralist, visual artist, and designer Jamar Pierre.
That's right, Lorelai. Jamar has been a friend of Liaya for many years now and has been involved with our visual arts department.
He is going to be joining us virtually to tell us about some of his projects,
including his huge work on a super long memorial along Tchoupitoulas Street. It looks amazing.
We will also have Megan back with another segment of Toby's Friends Adoptable Pets to tell us about this week's adoptable furry friend.
One that could be the newest member of your family if you're looking for an awesome pet to adopt.
Jamar is also the creative mind behind the official New Orleans Bicentennial artwork, and he has done art residencies all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And in between those travels, we have been lucky enough to have him here at Liaya, working with our visual arts department.
Stay tuned to learn more about the artwork and travels of Jamar Pierre. Thanks for joining us today for The Buzz.
Thank you for having me.
We are excited to hear about your projects and talk about some of the places in the world that you have been to share your artwork.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm glad that we're getting a little bit of fall weather. It makes things beautiful.
I know, it's been so nice and cool. It's been plenty of wind. It's wonderful.
Yes.
It's just so pleasant.
Yes.
You know,
Very pleasant.
we have some photos on the show right now, on the screen actually, of some of the murals and the mural you've been working on in New Orleans. Can you tell us where it is exactly?
It's on Tchoupitoulas, the float wall on Tchoupitoulas. That float wall goes all the way down to Jackson Avenue. And so far I've done some work on the beginning part by Walmart.
Jeez, that's a long way. That's like roughly a mile, isn't it?
Well, hopefully, and I will say at the end of the day and at the end of my lifespan, I plan to paint a whole mile mural along with other artists and do some awesome collaborations. But right now, we're just working on a block.
That must be a lot of work.
Yeah, I could never dream of doing something like that. You know, I've always been...
Yeah, it's monumental.
I know I've always been really interested to hear about artists doing public art, especially on site right there where they're doing it, and what the biggest challenge is that they face when they do a project like the one you're doing. Can you tell me about it and the challenges you faced while doing this big mural?
Yeah, well, when you're doing public art, you have to put safety first and make sure that it's something that is going to be archived and last for generations to come. So we make sure we prep the wall very carefully. We clean off all the dirt. We put Mildicides in the primer and do 2 coats of primer. And then I do several coats of paint. When I'm drawing and painting, I'm constantly layering and paint. So not only the color's vibrant, but the painting will last longer. It won't fade with the weather and have a lot of dirt and mold, because by you cleaning the surface, the paint sticks to the surface better. A lot of times we do have to deal with the elements, if it's really hot or if it's rainy. Cold is okay. It's better for me than when it's scorching hot. So painting in the early mornings and late evenings when it's hot is good. You have to be careful of the wind and use safety equipment to make sure no one's getting hurt or hit by a car, or that make sure the public is safe, So it's not just telling a story and creating something. You have to kind of think like a construction worker too.
So to add on to that, you have a small team that works with you to make everything safe and keep people out of the zone in which you're painting, right?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I work alone. I love both.
Wow, painting all day. Wow. That's one heck of a thing, man.
Yeah. Can you tell us about some of the art residencies that you have done outside of the country?
Yes. Well, my first one was in Costa Rica. I've done a couple in Costa Rica, and it changed my life. And it's been a path for me that's been all about love and compassion and sharing my story with different communities and a story about diversity and humanity. And it's led me to a very, very creative space, because when country and you're surrounded by nature, pristine nature,
Yeah.
and you're painting, it's like you have the ultimate stage of creativity because you don't have a lot of distraction, and it's something that's spiritual and about nature that helps you get into this meditative state that helps me personally be more creative.
So it seems like this first mural was really big, like awakening for you. Was there any other moment that made you decide or realize you wanted to be an artist?
Yeah, I started drawing when I was 2 years old. Um, I I'm left-handed, so I have that tendency to use the creative side of the brain. I played music when I was a kid.
Ooh.
I was influenced by my dad, who was a musician. I played piano, saxophone, and even violin for a little while as a kid. And I was into theater. I was actually in talented in the arts program for theater throughout school. I went to public school in New Orleans. I actually could not get in talented in the arts for visual arts. So I had no idea I was going to end up becoming a professional artist. And now it's ironic because I'm an evaluator for the state for talented in the arts. I have to test and decide who's going to get into the visual arts program for gifted. So, I think the creative genes, when you're creative, for example, like with Yaya, what you guys doing, you're creative all board around. You're going to have love for painting, music, theater, and you just love to create.
That's really nice.
Absolutely.
Really nice coming from somebody who does these amazing pieces of art. And it's kind of inspirational for me to hear your story of how you just came to art and saw it as a way to
Yeah.
express yourself in a way. And I love that you did music. I had no clue that you did music. You said you played piano? What was it?
Yeah, piano, saxophone. A lot of my work is inspired by music, nature, and food. It's just that zest of life. Being from Louisiana, you notice that in other communities around the world, people have that same zest of life. That's what we call the joie de vivre in French. And, family, nature, music,
It all
and food, all of those things go great together.
Yeah. So what I'm wondering is, do you have any advice for people who are aspiring artists who want to make art their career?
Man, I think it's so amazing that a lot of young artists have technical skills when it comes to using a computer, because using technology and using digital formats give you more options, and you can tell your story multiple times faster. I am still learning a lot of things about computers and digital things, so I'm a craftsman. I do everything by hand, even when I illustrate a kid's book, when I create a logo, a t-shirt design, it's all done by hand. And it takes a long time, and some of it's painstakingly hard. So I would tell young artists to try both. Use the technology to your advantage, but also just try doing things well from scratch with your hand. It's like it's like the difference between maybe buying a roof out the store and making a roof from scratch with your window.
That's cool.
I know you've worked with a lot of really inspirational and talented people, and I even heard that at one point you worked with Beyonce as part of her design team. What type of work did you collaborate with her on?
Actually, they're big art collectors, her and her mother, and it was Jay-Z too, as well, as many people know. And after Hurricane Katrina, her mom was buying a lot of artwork from Louisiana artists. So I met them at Essence Festival. I was a vendor there. I had been working with Essence Festival since they first started in New Orleans, the first year. So that year I met Beyonce and her mom, and they bought a couple of pieces from me, and they hung it in the House of Darion. Is their fashion company. So I never got a chance to go in House of Darion, but every time I saw them at Essence Festival, they would tell me that's where the pieces were hanging up at. So as you can imagine, like any office space, even in downtown New Orleans, people want to buy nice original art to hang in their lobbies.
I never thought of them as the artistic types to buy art like that.
It's cool though.
Yes, you know, art is wonderful. Art has taught me a lot about, you know, not putting things into a box, not assuming, not labeling.
Yeah.
People surprise me, and I surprise myself all the time through art. It's a learning experience.
So, do you have any upcoming projects that you can share with us?
Still working on the float wall. I just finished the mirror I sent you pictures of last night at this fine dining Indian restaurant called Plume. And they have some amazing Indian food. It was a 2-wall mural, top to bottom. Took me a while. I actually started weeks before the pandemic. I did my third residency. I had just completed my third residency in Costa Rica with this organization called Jaguar Luna, and we did a community mural in a section of Costa Rica that didn't have art programs. So that was our way of bringing art to that community. And I just got back February 15th. Wasn't feeling too well, but I was better in 3 days. I might have had COVID then. I'm not sure. I've been feeling great and taking my vitamins and exercising. So I just been trying to create new pieces as much as possible, but I had to finish that mural. So I've only really created 2 or 3 new pieces at home where my studio is. And I've been spending a lot of time really working on my new website because I've been putting my designs on T-shirts. And I might even put some cool stuff on pillows and mugs. And I'm trying to take some of my originals and make them available and more accessible also as G-Play canvas prints on this new website. So a lot of time going into that, developing it, testing the products, and marketing.
I want to encourage everyone to learn more about Jamar and his work by visiting his website.
I would definitely love to buy one of those.
And if you go on my
mugs.
website, you can see paintings that I did in different parts of the world. You can see my Louisiana collection, my Iceland collection, my Canadian collection, and my Costa Rica collection. And Iceland was an amazing place. It's like the closest you're going to get to being on Mars.
Yes, and there will also be a link in the description for anybody who wants to learn more about those different murals. We hope that when your schedule allows it and when things return back to somewhat of normality, that maybe one day you can join us in the studio for another live visit. Until then, we'll wrap up with one more closing question that we like to ask each of our guests.
That's right. The question this week is, if you could go back in time and give yourself advice on your 16th birthday, what are the 3 most important things that you would tell yourself?
To spend more time painting and drawing.
All right.
That's actually a pretty good one.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Is there any reason behind that?
Yes, and it's ironic. So as you asked me about the residencies, I told you the first international residency. Well, actually, my first one was in Europe, in Paris, Holland, and London.
Wow.
But at that time, I was younger, and it was right after Katrina. I wasn't as focused. I was more focused on social life. As a kid, as a teenager, I grew up in New Orleans, hanging out in the French Quarter, being inspired by art. But also, I was a DJ, and I did graffiti. And me and my friends used to skateboard. So we had a real big social life. And now that I'm an adult and I get a chance to go to these remote places and just paint and focus when I'm not teaching, or like with COVID, I've been on quarantine, haven't been in the grocery store. I'm just focused on my website and I'm focused on this mural. There's something about being like, I want to say in seclusion, but there's something about not putting my social life first that makes me create better art. It makes me super focused.
All right.
You start noticing there's a lot of distractions. There's so many distractions, especially when you're young. You know, I was so distracted between the age of 16 and 36. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, well, why do I like my work more? Why do I feel like I feel different? Why am I so happy? And it's because I become comfortable in my own skin, and I'm okay with just staying at home and researching and reading or painting or drawing or painting a mirror by myself sometimes.
And engulfing yourself in what you do and the art that you love.
Exactly.
And you wish you wish your younger self would have been more focused on that talent, so you would have been able to discover it sooner on and felt more accepting of your love for art.
Yeah, because when you're young, you're like, you know, you don't want to go work at McDonald's or Burger King, and
You're undecisive, you
like,
don't know what you're going to do.
You want to make a living off of doing something legal so you can stay out of jail. So you try to figure out something honest you can do with integrity. So for me, it was creating a lot of artwork for tourists. I used to do all the banners and stuff for Mardi Gras, T-shirts for Mardi Gras. You know, when you do tourist stuff, even doing jazz stuff, I did jazz fest for almost 20 years. You're doing all of this tourist stuff because you know you're going to sell and you got to pay your bills. But the creativity really started coming in as I started spending more time in remote places and doing these residencies and spending more time in nature, even in Louisiana. You know, spent a lot of times in the wetlands. And that, for me, helps me get in touch with my inner childhood, which brings out a totally different creativity level that I had between the ages of 16 and 36.
Well,
Alright.
I want to thank you so much for talking
No,
to us
thank you.
and taking your time to join us on the Buzz today. I really, really appreciate it. We've definitely
Thank you.
we've really enjoyed learning more about your work.
Yeah. And we look
I
forward to
really
having
appreciate
you.
you having that.
We look forward to having you back in the studio at Liaya in 2021.
It's been really nice.
Yes. You know, everything's just have to think positive. So everything's going to get back to normal. And if you ever have any questions, you know, tell Ms. Joni knows that she could reach out to me for any questions y'all have about anything.
Of course.
I would definitely love to meet up with you and talk some more. It's been a while since we've seen each other, Ann.
Yeah, I actually came not right before the COVID hit. I came out a couple of times right before the pandemic. Before I went to Costa Rica, actually, I think I came in either early January. Yeah, like early January. Because I left at the end of January. I came back mid-February. So, yeah, I like what you guys were doing there. I love the STEM projects y'all working on. Very good.
Well, I'm glad we had the chance to talk to you, and thank you so much for saying that. That's really, really nice coming from somebody who's done so much and inspired so many different art pieces. And I can't wait to meet up with you and have you on the show live.
Yeah.
I feel bad that
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I feel bad that I missed seeing you early January because it's been a long time since I've seen each other, and I would love to meet up and talk to you and introduce you to some of the new people. I can't wait to have you on the
Yes, I would
Buzz.
love to.
I can't wait to have you on the Buzz. Saying that, I think it's about time for goodbyes. I can't wait to see you next time, and thank you so much for taking your time
Same
to be on
here.
the Buzz.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I'm proud of y'all. Y'all keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, welcome to another Toby's Friends Pet of the Week. This week's spotlight goes to the beautiful Skylar, a 4-year-old husky who has been also named Houdini. That's right, it sounds like an escape artist. It is suggested that you add some chicken wire to the bottom of the fence to keep her inside and not lose her. But other than that, Skylar is such a perfect pup. She is so sweet and she loves the outdoors and just wants to be doing something all the time. Huskies are working dogs after all. Skylar was surrendered to Take Paws Rescue due to her owner no longer wanting her. That's so sad. Did you guys know that Huskies are quite common in rescues and shelters? That's because they are a very popular breed and people do not do their research before getting them. Huskies are wonderful dogs, but they have a lot of energy and need to exercise a lot. They can be an awesome pet for the right person. Keep in mind when you're looking to adopt a dog, do your research first. It's very important. But if you're interested in adopting Skylar, her pet finder link will be in the description below, and she's also available through Take Paws Rescue. That's it for now. Tune in next time for another adoptable furry friend with Toby's Friends Pet of the Week.
Hi, I'm Anaya with The Buzz, just letting y'all know to tune in for new episodes coming in October, just in time for Halloween. We have a lot of spooky segments and stories for you every week in October. Be sure not to miss it.
We would like to thank Jamar Pierre for joining us this week. Before we continue, we would like to announce that we are extending our masterclass opportunity due to the recent hurricane.
That means you have another chance to win the $200 subscription to Masterclass. So get commenting, y'all.
Stay tuned for plenty of new episodes of The Buzz coming at you in October.
Yes, including a new special Halloween segment each week. It is sure to be fun.
And be a little creepy.
I love Halloween.
Me too.
Oh, and don't forget to stay tuned for more chances to win some cool new stuff.
That's right. We will have some new and exciting freebies to give away when we return in October. Like that one?
Freebies, Jackson? Seriously?
Yes. Hey, it's punny. Don't judge.
Until then, I'm Lorelai.
And I'm Jackson.
Thanks for watching another episode of The Buzz. Until next time, be inspired.
Be informed, be entertained, be yourself.
Bye.
Bye.